This is part 2 of What If Deku was the son of the strongest man in the world. So, we now start at the beginning, or the end of Izuku's training with Tien Shinhan. He ends up learning a few moves and learning the basics of Ki, but he can barely fly, but can't shoot energy projectiles yet. But he has gotten stronger and faster. He's allowed to go home for his birthday, and he just spends time hanging out with his family. He does wonder where his father is, but apparently he's still doing his job, or well, his duty, and so he couldn't come today. He ends up talking with all of them, especially another woman that he sees, as he calls her Nanshi. He's happy to see her, but it's been a while since they've last talked. And his sister is just enjoying the party all around, just trying to eat in general. Now let's go to what their father's doing. As we arrive onto now Vegeto's world, since he's now the god of destruction, if you didn't see the last part, Whis ends up talking about how he needs to visit his family. And Whis just goes on and on. Vegeto just hates that he can't see his kids, but he understands his duty as the now god of destruction to help keep balance within the universe. Whis does bring up something very important to his attention. Due to him letting Cooler live, Cooler has been conquering worlds, but not in the way like Frieza did. He instead conquers the world and fights in the armies he has, but it seems he's trying to gain political power within the worlds. Since most worlds in their universe now know the god of destruction, it's either they join Vegeto's side as the god of destruction and accept their fates, or join Cooler's side to survive. Vegeto does bring up how his battle with Cooler didn't end the way that he thought. He thought he would, win and beat him easily, but their battle ended in a tie. Whis just states that it was a possibility that Vegeto couldn't have beaten him, as he says that he doesn't like to believe in those odds. But Whis brings up that the more time he stays away from his kids, the more he'll seem less as a father, and the more he'll seem just as a stranger or someone that helps around. And Vegeta doesn't take kindly to this. Shut up, Whis. I know my duties as the god of destruction. Let me do my job, and I'll visit them when I get the time. As Whis agrees that he's more active than Beerus was, which has moved them up in the poll of the gods. Vegito has moved up to the number 5 position. Not in the top 4 yet, but he's moved up. As Vegeta states, I hate this job. Well, you did defeat Lord Beerus. That battle was amazing. We now return to the household of Vegito. And all of Vegeto's spouses or wives are all talking to Izuku and Izumi, and finally reveal to them their same biology, as Vegito has revealed more and more to them, and how these kids aren't technically fully human, as they're half human due to their father's side. The kids barely understand what this means until Mandalay says they're half alien, which shocks them, as they bring up how their father's is very powerful, and that he will most likely be at the Tenkaichi Budokai just to support them. They hope he is, but they're just saying it, trying to bring up the kids' spirits, so they can hopefully see their father. But Mandalay's worried. He's never gone this long. He usually will show up a few days out of a month and then leave, but he'll always be here, which just concerns her in general. But she has more to be concerned about with the kids the other girls have had with Vegito. So there's a bunch of other little babies running around. As the tournament will start in a few days, Izuku just hangs around waiting for it to start. The next day they go to sign his name up, so when the tournament begins he doesn't have to wait in a line to get his name ready. But he senses something weird. It feels like there are other people here. As his mind starts to hurt, as it's like he can feel everyone around him, their powers, or something. He starts to try and hold his head, but it's just intense, and he just wants to leave. Mandalay just, after seeing this, Mandalay takes him home to wonder what's wrong, as the more they leave, after they leave, the less his head starts to hurt. This is due to him learning ki. He can sense everyone's ki around him, and being so young, he doesn't understand what this is, and it starts to hurt his little head. And the next day, the Tenkaichi Budokai finally starts, as his mother sit in the stand, but they wear different clothing and some of them have wigs on just so no one notices who they are. As they finally get a day off today. Cow Lady's the only one that doesn't change her appearance due to her going to participate in the adults tournaments, just to see how far she can get. As during the children's division of the tournament, Izuku very quickly starts winning and goes to the semifinals. The semifinal person he's fighting is a kid with white hair and white and red hair and a scar on his eye. Izuku gets ready to fight as he's hit by a gigantic wall of ice. He uses his flames to melt the ice around him, but he's having trouble trying to maneuver as the ice pushes him further and further to the edge, and he trips on his tail and falls out. This makes him very mad that he didn't win, and due to his tail was the only reason he fell out. As he hears the kid's name, Shoto Todoroki. He leaves the arena, and so does the other kid. Meanwhile, Endeavor's in the stand cheering that his son won. And the little Todoroki ends up winning the entire tournament, or children's division. Now we go to the adults division. As Izuku sees 3 people, and he somewhat can just feel the pressure all 3 of them put off. One of them has a fierce pressure that feels like that of an animal. Izuku says it feels like a wolf. The other one, the energy is slow and calm, not jagged or not too powerful. Something like a turtle in his mind. And then another one, it's elegant, fast, and yet still powerful. He brings up a crane. He thinks of it as a crane. As if you don't know, the people that are still alive from the old DBZ universe are Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha. The reason they lived so long is due to themselves being turned into semi-androids. They didn't get any of the bonuses. They only got one bonus from it, the longevity, but that's it. Izuku ends up seeing his mother fight and get into the quarterfinals before being one-shot out of the tournament by a man with a beard and a shell, which is Krillin if you don't know, but taking up the Turtle Skull mantle. And why does he have a shell? Well, he brought it to weigh him down like a weighted clothing, and it was allowed. He just didn't use it to fight with. He just tapped her once, and she got sent flying into a wall. The next match is between 2 people. One that he realizes is Tien, mainly because of the third eye. Tien was trying to disguise himself, but it didn't work. While the other one has long hair, a scar on his face, and a beard. They both end up fighting, and Tien ends up losing to the man in a long beard and long hair and beard with a scar, as he gains the prize money. After they leave the tournament, they end up just talking about how it went for them. As since Cow Lady was the only one to enter, she says if they all were to enter, they probably could have won the prize money, but she doesn't care. Izuku goes back to school the next day, and he just talks with Katsuki and his sister. His sister just talks with her friends, but really doesn't want to hang out with them. And Izuku just brings up how he was in the tournament, but no one believes him. Now we'll time jump, let's just say 2 years. The Tenkaichi Budokai does happen in those 2 years, but they end up placing in the exact same places. But Tien does win one, and then Krillin wins the next one, showing that they're all relative in power. But Vegito hasn't shown up for those 2 years. He's been gone. Mandalay gets even more concerned, wondering where her husband could be, or where all their husband is. And she wonders if something bad happened to him. And now, we'll see what he's doing. Vegito and Whis are shown talking, and Whis brings up the fact that it's been 3 years since he's last seen his family. His kids are probably a lot older now, and are most likely gonna not see him as a father soon. He says his role is more important than being a father. He must keep balance. As Whis says, it seems like the title of Destroyer is affecting your mind, my lord. I can't force you to do anything you want, but I do say, going back to Earth and trying that lovely Earth food would be a blessing. As Vegito says that the job they're doing is more important than Earth right now. As Whis brings up, didn't you say that your first 200 years? And look what that led us. As Vegito gets mad and just says, shut up, Whis. I don't need to deal with this right now. Ooh, another call. Should I hang this one up as well? Just answer it. As Whis answers it with his staff, and it's Nagant. Nagant has called him for the 10th time today. What do you need, Nagant? You need to come home, she says, as Vegito just tells Whis to hang up, and he hangs up with the staff. Whis says, see? They need you there. As Vegito says, I'll find time to get down there. Whis says, our schedule isn't really tight today. You can probably get there and be there for a few hours before having to come back. As Vegito says, fine. I guess a few hours wouldn't hurt. As he grabs Whis' staff and he uses instant transmission and teleports to their house. As him and Whis arrive to the house, Whis says that the house is pretty big, and Vegeta says it has to be this big to accommodate everyone. Whis just ends up laughing to what Vegeta says, saying, alright, yeah. Many spouses and a lot of children. As he says, yeah, that's really funny, isn't it, Whis? As he just laughs, saying they should go somewhere to get some food. It's been a while since he's tried Earth food. As the girls say, Whis can go, but Vegeto's gonna stay for a few hours. As he wonders why, saying, as they say, it's been 3 years since the last baby has been born. They want another, as Vegeta knows what's coming up. He asks Whis if they can go teleport to a restaurant real quick before he has to do something. As Whis says, yeah, as Whis teleports himself, but takes Vegeto's money. As Vegeto's left in the house, and one thing comes to another, he leaves their bedroom tired. Izuku and Izumi see their father in the first time in 3 years and hug him. They ask if he can stay, as Whis says, actually, we gotta leave right now. Vegito ends up saying, how long? If I stay here for a few days, how much time do I have? Or how big in trouble can I get into? Yeah, Lord Zeno won't be pleased, but I'd say the max is 3 days. And Vegeta says, I'm not leaving for 3 days, kiddo. As Izuku gets happy and starts running around, as his dad gets to stay for 3 days. The girls say he's gonna spend 3 hours out of those 3 days with them, just to make sure. As Vegeta says, this day These 3 days are gonna be very bad on my stamina, aren't they? As Whis laughs. And now I will cover the last of these all 3 days for the last of this part. For the first day, Vegeta brings the kids around Japan, just seeing national monuments, and he ends up training them in their quirks. Izumi gets a little bit better control over her fire quirk, but she still doesn't like it. He also tries to help Izuku learn better ki control, as Izuku has an easier time flying around and floating around the house. He talks to all of them, hoping that they all have a good day at work as they all leave it, except for 2 people. The 2 people that don't leave are Lady Nagan due to an event. She basically, when she did shoot the safety professor, attorney, whatever, the guy she shot and that sent her to Tartarus, due to her still being in a relationship with Vegito, let's just say he threatened all of Japan, or threatened them and threatened Japan in general. They've seen him on videos and took his threat. They just took it. And they didn't send Nagan to Tartarus, but she barely works as a hero anymore. And then the other woman that ends up staying home is, I don't have a picture of her right now, but that teacher from the primary school that was in the episode where Bakugo and Todoroki had to do extra stuff to get their licenses, it's that teacher. He's married to her as well. She ends up both of them end up taking care of the kids as he gets another phone call. Turns out one of the other girls has a day off today and ends up driving back home. I'll keep her a secret for now, but her name is Nanshi. And she's very important to Izuku, being someone he's known for a while with Mandalay. And the next day, is their second day, as Vegito just enjoys the time with them. He watches movies, eats with them, as Whis enjoys the food on Earth, saying it's absolutely delicious. As Vegito says, you could say that. You can say that again, as he just enjoys the cooking. On his last day, he just spends as much time as he can with the family before he has to leave. And then Whis' staff rings. Vegito answers it, and out pops Lord Zeno. As Vegito immediately stands up and starts bowing, breaking the table they were eating at. As everyone wonders why he's bowing, as he yells for all of them to bow as well. Lord Zeno, it's been a while. As Zeno says, it has. So, why aren't you doing your job as the god of destruction? The Grand Priestess told me you have been taking a few days off. And he says, I was doing it to spend some time with my family. With a very concerned tone in his voice. As now they're concerned. As Zeno says, oh, okay. You got an extra 4 days if you're wondering. As Zeno leaves, hanging up. As Vegito is shown sweating profusely. Zeno's... why did he have to call now? As the girls say, why is he terrified of him? That guy looks like a child. As Whis and Vegito both correct him, saying that he is the lord of the entire multiverse. He owns universes 1 through 12. That's all of them, he states, saying it was just terrifying to meet him in general. He doesn't... Saying Lord Zeno, if he wanted, could erase all of them in an instant. And he's seen him do it. Which scares him. Izuku and Izumi just laugh, saying he still looks like a child, but Vegito says for them to respect him, or else they may not ever exist again. As they ask if this is what's been keeping him away, trying to follow that guy's orders, as he says, yeah, that's one part. As they ask, what's the other? As they all say in unison, what's the other? As they ask if he's been cheating on all of them, as he says, no. He's been fighting a person named Lord Cooler. He's been conquering worlds and is planning to head to Earth in the next few years. As I wonder who is Cooler. That sounds like a thing you store sodas or beers. Or alcohol, in general. As he says, Lord Cooler is a tyrant. Someone that will conquer worlds and subjugate the entire population. He won't destroy him, but he'll make sure they listen to him and only him. Saying he's been trying to make sure Cooler doesn't advance closer to this sector of the universe. They ask if there's anyone strong enough to do that, or fight Cooler and Vegito just to stay with them. He says Cooler is the closest person to his strength, and if Cooler gets any stronger, Vegito could be beaten in battle, and Cooler could take the title as God of Destruction. And that will kind of allow him to do anything if Lord Zeno doesn't find out. And they just get scared, wondering how powerful this man could truly be. And that's where I'm ending part 2. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, like, subscribe. Hopefully I get comments.